Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, and, well, the NHL hasn't really had anything to talk about over the last month because all the NHL players are out in Milan at the Winter Olympics, which, gotta say, in the break here, they got the Super Bowl, spring training starting up, the NBA's in full swing. I was spending a lot of time watching the Winter Olympics. I mean, seriously, they were so awesome this year. What an event. And it's not just hockey. I was watching a ton of other sports as well. I was watching some curling, some downhill and alpine skiing, which were super cool, by the way. The half pipe, watching some speed skating, a little figure skating in there as well. I was getting a lot of different types of winter sports into my brain and enjoying all that the Olympics had to offer. And speaking of the hockey side of things, what a tournament. What a tournament. Both on the men's and the women's side. It was just really, really exciting the whole way through. You talk about both the men's and women's American teams winning gold over Canada in overtime. Cinematics. You could make a movie about these Olympics for both the men's and women's teams coming together and combining to win gold over Canada in the gold medal game both times. Seriously, it's the first time ever that men's and women's hockey wins gold at the Olympics for the USA. It's so cool. And can we also talk about how sick and filthy that Megan Keller golden goal was? I mean, seriously, to pull off that type of a move in those stakes, on that stage, in that matchup, for the gold medal, that is one of the greatest international goals ever. Ever. And no one can tell me otherwise because, seriously, name another international goal that is more skilled in those types of stakes with that rivalry ever. Megan Keller, hats off to you. That was a phenomenal performance. And plus, she's a defenseman, too. You'd expect someone to pull off that type of move if they were a bona fide goal scorer. But Megan Keller is a defenseman. That was spectacular. And for the U.S. to tie that game with about 2 minutes left on a perfect tip from Hillary Knight, mwah, that game was so satisfying. And then the men followed up just a couple days later with their own win over Canada in the gold medal game. Matt Boldy's goal is going to be forgotten in the whole discussion with this Olympic team, but that was unbelievable. Squeezing in between Cale Makar and Devon Taves, tipping it to himself in midair, and then able to dangle around Jordan Binnington and put it through. All Central Division players, by the way, that I just mentioned. Love this division that the Hawks play in. But, what a goal. What a goal from Matt Boldy. And then Connor Hellebuck with a couple phenomenal saves in the third period. That was such a great hockey game despite only 3 goals being scored. I mean, seriously, that was special. And then the golden goal from Jack Hughes is just super nice. I mean, it really did look like the entire stadium. My reaction was a little bit delayed. I didn't know that puck went in. The body language wasn't necessarily there, and then they start panning the crowd, and that's when I realized that the Americans had just won the gold. And these Olympics made me realize why I love the sport of hockey so much. I mean, high drama, fast-paced, high-stakes hockey is some of the best sports entertainment this world has to offer, and no one can make me believe otherwise. As that was spectacular. Even some of the non-American games were really, really good in the Olympics here. And it's just so nice to have NHLers back because you can just tell the level of competition goes up because the National Hockey League is the greatest hockey league this globe has to offer. Now, with that being said, I had a great time watching the Olympics. The Hockey Olympics were so much fun, and again, it made me realize and remember why I got into hockey in the first place. Pleased to believe I've watched the last week of Hawks hockey, and I remembered why that love has been dwindling because, oh my God, the Chicago Blackhawks are a pathetic excuse of a hockey team, and they have been for the last half decade. I just cannot believe that I have to go from watching the American hockey team win gold at the Olympics and then watch the Chicago Blackhawks, which is Connor Bedard, Spencer Knight, and no one else right now. This is just... when is this going to turn around? Like, when are we going to right this ship? So the Hawks have played 4 games since the Olympic break, and all on the road against Central Division teams. Awesome. And that first game is against the Nashville Predators. Oh man, that's so much fun. If you've been watching the channel long enough, you know I have this deep hatred for the Nashville Predators because they killed the Chicago Blackhawks dynasty. After the Hawks beat them twice in the first round of the playoffs en route to 2 Stanley Cups, they embarrassed them in 2017 as an 8 seed, sweep out the Blackhawks, and the Hawks haven't been back to the playoffs in a full 82-game season. So yeah, forgive me for maybe hanging on to a playoff series that happened almost 10 years ago, because guess what? My team hasn't been back to the playoffs since then in a full 82-game season, because the only time they've ever played playoff hockey since then was in the COVID-shortened season where 12 teams got in from each conference. And that 2017 series is a big reason on why I don't like the Nashville Predators, but it wouldn't be nearly as bad as if the Chicago Blackhawks could play halfway decent against the Nashville Predators in the regular season. Because ever since that series in 2017, the Hawks have won more than 1 game against the Nashville Predators in a given season just once. Pardon me, twice. They went 2-2 against them in 2017-18 and 2019-20. This team can't beat the Nashville Predators. Like, they're boogeyman now. Like, I don't get it. Like, what is it about Smashville that is so intimidating that you just cannot overcome them at all? Like, you maybe get a win a year in 4 tries. Sometimes more when you look at that 2021 season where they played them 8 times and beat them just once. They were 1-6-1 against the Preds in that year. Like, it just boggles my mind that this team stinks against the Nashville Predators. I'm honestly surprised that the win that they have against the Predators this year is not only in Nashville, but it was a shutout win by our 3rd-string goaltender, Drew Commesso. Like, how in the world is that the game that they win against the Predators this year? So yeah, they just suck. Like, they just suck against the Predators. Every time they play, it just feels like it's going to happen one way or another. And this game was no different. The Hawks actually took the lead on a power play goal from Tyler Bertuzzi on a nice juicy rebound in the 3rd period, which came after Connor Bedard tying the game at 1 on a wicked shot in the slot. Like, he just found some space, fires it by Justus Ananen, and so the Hawks lead 2-1 in the 3rd. Oh boy, the Hawks are playing with the lead in the 3rd period, and the Predators get a power play and score towards the end of it. Awesome. Game tied. I expected them to tie the game at least. I had no confidence in them actually holding on to that lead. I'll tell you that much. And then, with about 3 minutes left, it's Ryan O'Reilly to tip it by Spencer Knight. Oh, that's awesome. They're not even going to get a point out of this game. They're not even going to get a point because they're down 3-2. There's 3 minutes left. The Hawks don't score empty net goals. They have not scored a goal with the goalie pulled this season. They are absolutely pathetic when they play with the extra man at the end of the game. I've never seen a hockey team more inept at playing the game of hockey with one more skater than the other team. I've actually never seen it. They can't get a zone entry when they pull the goaltender. Like, what am I watching? How do you fix this? They can't enter the Predator zone. They get one clear. Hawks can't get it out of their own end. And then Nazar turns it over as he's trying to go behind to Bedard because the Predators are playing like full court press or whatever. Stamkos steals, scores, game over. Like, what is this? It's pathetic. I just can't fathom it. How are they this bad when their net is empty and they have an extra skater? Like, okay, if they were not very good and they got 1 or 2 goals, maybe lost in overtime. Maybe they have 1 win when they score with an extra attacker. But, like, even then, they're getting some shots on net. It's like, okay, that's just kind of how the sport works. But, like, when you can't even get into your attacking zone and set anything up when you pull your goalie with 1.5 minutes left and surrender a goal, half minute later, it's just disgusting in the bad way. Like, it makes me want to throw up with how bad this team is in late game scenarios when they're trailing. They're so terrible at it. Like, it really does feel like if the Blackhawks are going to win, they're going to have to hang on to a lead. Because, God forbid, they have to come back from being down a goal in the third period. And their late game play continues to stink because you go to that next game against Colorado, the fact they were even winning that game for half of it is crazy. Because they were getting outplayed all game long. Outplayed. Outshot really badly for the first 2 periods as well. But, like, Connor Bedard scores in the power play early, like really early, on a wicked shot into the top right corner short side. Like, such a tight window to fit that shot in, but he's Connor Bedard and he's going to do that. Rest of the game, offense is just pitiful. Like, it is so infuriating watching the Hawks play hockey because they can't score. They can't score. Their offense is so terrible. Connor Bedard will get like 2 or 3 good scoring chances that he has to create and generate himself because no one else on the team can help him around. And then you just got to hope that maybe you get a goal from someone else because it's just pathetic. And you're playing the best team in the National Hockey League on the road. I'm sorry. It's going to happen at some point. You can only play like that for so long and hang on to a 1-0 lead. Like, Cale Makar scores at the end of the second period after the Avs fail to score on a power play, but, you know, because the Hawks can't clear it after the power play, they get more and more chances, and Cale Makar is able to put one in before the end of the period. Awesome. Avs score in the third to go up 2-1, and you're like, well, that's it. It's over. Because you know this team's not going to win. You know this team goes down in the third period, and they're not going to tie it. They're not going to. They haven't all season. What do you know? Late game, can't do anything. Empty net, goes right in. 3-1, you lose. And so how does this get worse? It's the front half of a back-to-back. You got to go play the Utah Mammoth, who, oh, by the way, are in a playoff position right now, the next day. Well, that's going to be another L, right? I mean, what has this team shown you in the last month that this is going to be a win? And yet, of course, this is one of the most complete games this team plays all season. You know, their first 2 games back from the break against Nashville and Colorado looked just so awful, where Spencer Knight's doing what he can, but of course, because the offense can't do anything, they're kind of leaving him out to dry a little bit. And so Connor Bedard then scores a ridiculous goal or whatever. How about Arvid Soderblom on the second half of a back-to-back, playing great against a playoff caliber team, and then Karel Vejmelka not living up to NHL wins leader type of play, and the Hawks shut him out. Like, they blanked the Mammoth. This is really, really weird. Like, it's such an outlier because it's not just the fact that the Hawks had sucked the last 2 games, looked completely dead in the water. They get goals, 2 goals from Teuvo Teravainen. They get a goal from Nick Foligno, which, oh, by the way, was his 250th career NHL goal. Congrats to Fliggy. Oh, captain, my captain. Congratulations. 250 NHL goals is very hard to do. Not many players get there. I know his career's kind of closing. He's kind of... He's towards the end of his career. So, hitting that milestone, good for him. And then Landon Slaggert gets a goal. Like, it was just a really weird game. And then, you know, the likes of Dylan Gunther, Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, they can't beat Arvid Soderblom. Like, okay. So we get depth scoring. The Hawks scored more than 3 goals in a game. And their backup goaltender is playing very well to the point where he's going to pick up his first career shutout. Yep, first career shutout for Arvid Soderblom. Good for him. On the second half of a back-to-back, like, where was this all year? Like, why can't you play like this on a more regular basis? This is just, a win like this is awesome. But, like, it also makes you more mad because you're like, why don't you play like this on a regular basis? Can you just be normal? And if this game wasn't an outlier enough, second half of a back-to-back, backup goaltender picking up his first career shutout, 2 goals in the fourth line. Like, if this game wasn't an outlier enough, here's 2 more stats. Teuvo Teravainen scored 2 goals in this game. One of them was a shorthanded goal, which was the first shorthanded goal that the Utah Mammoth have allowed all season long. And since this is the first season with the team officially being called the Utah Mammoth, since they're not just the Utah Hockey Club anymore, this is the first shorthanded goal allowed by the Utah Mammoth. Period. End of story. First one ever. Because even though they let up shorthanded goals when they were the Hockey Club, they didn't let up a shorthanded goal when they were the Mammoth until this game. Yeah, it's not just a weird stat to think about just in general, but it's even weirder that we're talking about this in March. Anyways, the other ridiculous stat that makes this game a complete outlier, not just for the Chicago Blackhawks, but for the Utah Mammoth as well, is that in 8 games prior to this, where the team playing the Utah Mammoth had just played the Colorado Avalanche the day before, which in this case the Blackhawks did, the Utah Mammoth were 7-0-1. They had not lost in regulation. And they got shut out in this game. The Hawks were the first team to beat the Mammoth the day after they played the Avalanche. That is just ridiculous. Like, not any other, like, higher level team, not even just like an average team in the Western Conference was able to pull that off. We're not talking, like, it's the Blackhawks. What? Yeah, this game was just kind of out of the ordinary. Really, really weird. But, hey, the Hawks get the win. 4-0. Arvid Soderblom gets his first shutout. Good for him. Get to see Nick Foligno get his 250th. Good for him. The Hawks then get to play the Winnipeg Jets next. The Jets are such a puzzling team for me because I don't think that they lost a ton of guys in the offseason. They still have Scheifele. They still have Connor. Connor Hellebuck's still there, but Hellebuck has not been playing well. Like, Connor Hellebuck was a brick wall in the Olympics, proving to everyone why he's like a 3-time Vezina winner. He won the Hart Trophy. Like, there's a reason. But he's just not played well for the Jets this year. Like, I don't know what it is. He just hasn't played well. I don't know why the Jets aren't a good hockey team this year. It's really weird. Hockey works like that sometimes, I guess. Hawks going to go up to Winnipeg, and they allow the first goal. Awesome. But then they come back and score towards the end of the first period. Very nice. Teuvo Teravainen was able to get one that rung off the post and in. Like that. Game tied to the first intermission. And here, 2 things can be true. The Hawks were the better team through 2 periods, and this game was also incredibly boring to watch. Because, like, the way the Hawks play hockey is just not incredibly exciting. They've got a bunch of young guys who are still developing, but because the Hawks just aren't a very good hockey team, they're getting a lot of NHL minutes instead of playing down in Rockford. And then the veteran guys just are past their prime, right? And you want them to be veteran leaders, but at some point it's also just like, this team isn't really exciting to watch outside of Connor Bedard blowing through 2 defenders to get a tough chance on net twice a game or whatever. I mean, it's really weird. And then Bedard finds Ryan Green, who is able to put it right by Connor Hellebuck in the first minute of the third to go up 2-1. And all right, this team's up 2-1. They just got to hold on to the lead. And despite playing pretty good for the entirety of the game, the last 7-8 minutes, The Hawks are just playing in survival mode, like just trying to wait and hope that clock hits 0 before the Jets finally are able to beat Spencer Knight. They can't do it because when they pull Hellebuck, they get the extra attacker, and it's Cole Perfetti who ties it up for the Jets, and it was this close to going off of Jonathan Taves' stick for a game-tying goal to send it to overtime. But Perfetti's shot was good enough as it is to go in by itself. And so we got overtime. Awesome. Hawks have control of possession for like a minute. Can't do anything with it. They lose possession. The Jets take it. And for a second, I was like, it's going to be Jonathan Taves. It's going to be Jonathan Taves who scores the overtime winner. But no, he goes to the bench after keeping the puck in the offensive zone for the Jets. Fresh from the bench, it's Mark Scheifele. Skates in, gets a pass, literally gets 2 or 3 strides, right by Knight, game over. Hawks lose. Awesome. So the Hawks go 1-2-1 on this road trip. I mean, we all knew this team wasn't making the playoffs after their performance right before the All-Star break, or the Olympics break in this case. But, yeah, no, they're just pitiful. They're just terrible. This is just not fun. They're just not a good hockey team, guys. This is very clear. They're just not good. And I don't know where they go now. Frank Nazar hasn't scored a goal in God knows how long. He's out there doing a bunch of cardio at this point. He's a non-factor again. Like, who else on this team besides Connor Bedard and Spencer Knight is going to take this team to the next level? I know we got some young guys, and I think that there are some young guys that I would really like to keep around. I like what Alex Vlasic's done. I like Ryan Green. I like Artem Levshinov. I think people have been really hard on Artem Levshinov, but guess what? He's in year 2. He's a defenseman. Usually, it takes a little bit for defensemen to really find their footing in the National Hockey League. He's had a couple of nice plays throughout this season that remind you, okay, yeah, he was selected number 2 overall. Let's be patient with this guy. I like Oliver Moore. I like Nick Lardis a lot, even though he's not on the team right now. I think him developing in Rockford is a good thing. It's just, I don't know, they need to get more veteran, like, not necessarily like veterans in the sense like get more Nick Folignos, more Matt Grzelcyks, more Pat Maroon. No, I want to see them try and make a big splash trade for one of the top players in the league. And I hope that this year has done enough to find Bedard a line mate, finally. Which brings me to the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick. Trade deadline's on Friday. I don't think the Hawks are really going to do anything. If they do anything, they're going to sell. They're going to move a couple guys away from the team. And they already have with Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy, at the point that he left, was the longest tenured Blackhawk. He was there for 9 years right after the dynasty had ended. Played through a lot of bad hockey teams. But he was there, and he was a solid defender. He was never a true successor to the great defenders during the dynasty, but he was an NHL caliber defender that was a very important leader on the team, knowing that he had the alternate on his jersey, which Connor Bedard, by the way, was able to grab the alternate after Murphy was traded. He was traded to the Oilers for a draft pick, which who knows what happens with that. I mean, who knows? It's just whatever. But Connor Murphy is off the team. Such is life. Thank you for your service, Connor Murphy. Because from what it sounds like, he was kind of a bit of a fan favorite too, like a really, really good guy as well. I know Pete Crow Armstrong's going to be upset because he was wearing his jersey when him and Caleb Williams went to that Hawks game. Bedard and Murphy took pictures with Crow Armstrong and Williams. So that kind of sucks, but you know what? It's hockey, it's sports. It's just how it works, and if this team wants to get better, they're going to have to shed a couple guys that have been there for a while. God knows, the Oilers need defensive depth, so they're going to get a little bit with Connor Murphy. I don't think that immediately makes them, cup contenders, because they still have a massive goaltending problem, but still, I think it'll help the Oilers out having some better depth on the defensive end. For the Blackhawks, they just stink. They're not the worst team in the league this time, though, but they still are really, really bad. They get the worst team in the league in the Vancouver Canucks at home for their first home game in a month. Then they go play at Dallas, which they're 2-0 against, by the way. They're going for a season sweep against the Stars later this week. And then they get the Mammoth again at home before our next video comes out here on the channel. And they got the Mammoth 2 games in a row, so that'll be across 2 different videos. But yeah, they got 3 games before we reconvene next week. So yeah, this team's bad. It's really bad. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got to say. So that's it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you really did want to see more videos from me. Keep the conversation going in the comment section down below and let me know what you think about the Chicago Blackhawks. Let me know what you think about the Connor Murphy trade. What would you do in the offseason to help this team truly improve? I don't know. Let me know. And I'll see you all in the next one. See ya. Take care.